Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good
What's up,
morning.
Jason?
Happy June.
Happy June indeed. What's up, Caitlin? Good morning. Nice to see you on a Monday. How's summer going for you? How's hubby's arm, elbow? Dr. Feelgood, good morning. I saw Dr. Feelgood this weekend. Got to go um to meet up with some V friends in Texas. Him and his son, I believe. So that looked awesome. He went to the
Excellent.
Texas mecca of V friends.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dr. Feelgood sent a podcast on decision making last week, and I meant to thank him in person, or at least through voice, for sending it along. I was doing something else while I was listening, but the gist of it was I think what I was talking about was sometimes when I'm trying to make decisions, like bigger decisions, sometimes I either like forget what I've done and didn't write it down, or have trouble making like final decisions. Forget what exactly the problem was, but I think the theory was like quantum decision making, like
Hmm.
kind of mapping it out, like choose your own adventure. Like if this happens, what happens? If we do this, what happens? Which is all very straightforward. And I did find some clarity in it. So thank you, good doctor. I appreciate it.
Did it
Happy
make you feel
Monday.
good?
Happy Monday to all you working people, and to all your teachers out there. Happy day 10.
If it's your day 10, because I guess all of y'all don't have the same schedule. Um,
Because this is the time of the year when sometimes the days kind of melt together and sometimes you don't know what day it is.
yeah,
Except
100%.
Monday. You always know it's Monday.
Good morning, Paul. How are you? How is little baby doing? Brofit, what's up, buddy? How are you? How was your weekend? Did you get some golf in? Um, yeah, man. How was your weekend? What did you guys get up to?
Weekend was it was full, more full for the kids. We had so Friday was T-ball, adult league soccer, 0 injuries,
Yep.
success. Saturday we went to barbecue with a good friend, amongst other good friends, and I met a very well. I shouldn't say I met him before, but we actually kind of got to like kind of connect and chat. Another dad in the town of Longmont also does uh, dad themed podcast. It's called the Paternal Podcast,
Oh,
um,
nice.
but it's like we kind of do like a kind of small group thing. He has like really big names on his podcast, like
Ooh.
Michael Ian Black. He has authors on, and they're kind of longer form. They're like maybe hour long, and it's like he researches these people and like asks really great questions. Um, I'll put it in the chat because it definitely opened up uh, a nice little rabbit hole into things besides the Daily Dad. So I'm excited to kind of jump down that.
So you were hanging with him at the
Yeah,
barbecue?
yeah. We had a
Nice.
good little group. It wasn't the whole time, but like there was like maybe 5 dads there that we kind of got to talk. Got to go a little bit deeper than like what do you do for a job, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Sweet.
Um, Kind of talked about how there's not a whole lot of opportunity for dads to get together and just be dads together. So it's very grateful for that night.
I
So
think this month is going to help everyone check that notion at the door, because it's all about self-care, making time for yourself and making time for those little things. Because I've found that, like, if you just change the way you think about everything, you find the time for those little things. It's not easy. It takes a while, but you find the time to make time for yourself, be a little bit more selfish with your time,
mhm.
not always putting it towards work. and family and wives and household chores and make a little bit more time for those guy moments, those friend dates, those relationships, the gym, the self-care, the what have you. And a lot of what it had to do for me was also being really honest about all the time I spent, or rather like wasted on, um, like streaming or watching TV or move. Like I've always been like a big TV and movie person. So like, spending endless hours on Netflix versus having a 30-minute conversation with a friend or going, to grab a beer with someone or something like that. Like I used to spend my lunch break just hanging in my car, getting some fast food and watching Netflix versus like now I try to, you know, call someone and invite them to lunch or, work during my lunch so that I can spend more time on the beach, meditating or something like that. So yeah, this month is gonna be an interesting one, a fun one. I like this month.
Yeah, I'm optimistic for it for sure. I've been noticing, kind of like I guess it's been every month, and you are on your second revolution through this book as well, right?
Um,
Because
I
you
don't
got
know. I don't know. I don't think so because I'd have to look to see when the book came out, like when it was released, because yeah, like I got it right at released, but I didn't. So it says launching June 2023. So yes, I guess you're right. I mean, I don't think like I don't think I got it like the day of, but I'm getting pretty close to lapping too. I'm not good with remembering like anniversaries and stuff like that. Like my own anniversary, yes, of course. But like, I don't always pay attention to stuff like that. But yes, pretty much.
usually by week three is when I feel like we've really beat that horse as far as the monthly theme. But I am excited about this one a little bit more than others. So
Yeah.
I'm remaining optimistic.
I think it's helpful. I like that he put it right in the middle, like it kind of gives you a break from the kid focus and parent focus, and then it kind of gets you like, oh, hey, wait, there's this other part of life. Like, you can only give, like there's a lot of those stories, or there's a lot of those things. Just like you can only give as much as you have. So you can only give your wife, your kids, your work, your house, everything like that. You can only give as much as you have. So every now and then you gotta just stop, take a moment, refill your cup. And I think a lot of us are pretty good about that. It's always changing. I think you've talked about it a lot. Like, you want to have a routine and you want to be like pretty strict about it, but then something will come up. Like you have a sick kid who just doesn't sleep through the night, and like, you're tired and you can't wake up early and go to the gym. And so you just kind of have to be adaptable. You have to take like that hit and be like, okay, I'm not going to get it today. Maybe I can find some time to squeeze in the gym, later, or today's just not the day. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next week.
Yeah, specifically on the my favorite analogy for all this is the oxygen mask analogy, where when you're on a plane and it always says to give yourself oxygen first. Such a great analogy because if you can't breathe, you can't help anybody else. So yeah,
Ab-
morning's super important, and you have to be flexible, and you have to be understanding, and you have to be the adult. Uh,
yeah,
all those things. And yes, like specifically the gym, it's like doesn't happen. Just gotta yeah. Tomorrow's a new day, so
exactly.
usually
I
if
have
I don't do it in the morning, then it just gets moved to the next day.
yeah, yeah. And that's good to have that, because sometimes you can work it out, but other times you get more in your head where you're like, okay, well, maybe I can do it after lunch. And then it's like, oh, but after lunch is really busy. And so you kind of get a little down on yourself. Uh-oh, Brofit's like, no, 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 don't skip never skip the workout. No, 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 no.
He's angered.
Um, sorry, Brian. I have a funny, like, not funny, but like the history with for me with the oxygen mask thing on the airplane. It's like funny that you bring that up, but uh my wife, like early on in her parent journey and our parent journey, she used to always like turn to me after the flight attendants, because like they announce it, and then most airplanes, the flight attendants will then walk the aisle, and anyone with a kid, they'll like double down and be like, "Hey, no, seriously, like put yours on first. Like you heard that part, right?" And my wife would turn to me and she's like, "No, no, I'm gonna save my kid." And I'm like, I would just kind of like chuckle. I never really thought much of it. But after doing a lot of this like self-care work and then seeing how my wife puts our children like way above her self-care and priorities for the longest time, I finally did tell her, I'm like, "Hey, look, like this is something that like we used to talk about all the time, like, but you really do need to put yourself first. Like you really need to take care of yourself, and it'll also help the kids understand that they need to take care of themselves too, and they shouldn't always rely on you, like mom doing everything for them." And I think, well, she's changed that a little bit in the recent years, and she's gotten a lot better. So yeah, that was my little story about that whole thing.
Yeah.
And then Brofit, there's always time to do 5 push-ups and 5 squats right now. Go. So everybody else who's not live on stream and on camera, just go do push-ups and squats per Brofit.
I just did mine. I don't know if you guys saw me get down and up really fast, but I just did them. So you guys got to do it too. Um, I want to share May 31st. It was Sundays, and I almost jumped on because you weren't there, and I slept in. I was like maybe like 6:45, and I was hoping I was hoping you got on, so God was refreshing.
Mm.
But I got my stage fright. Stage fright got better hold of me, so I didn't do it. But the one thing I want to hit on is the ending of May, where um, last page talks about the mistakes that not just we make, but like our parents made,
Hmm.
and how that kind of gets passed down to us. And through that reading, the question that I kind of came up with was, what mistakes do we make that our parents see us making that maybe they almost that maybe they did, but not correcting it. So it's like,
Mm.
what have I done that my parents have done that they kind of watch me struggle through, whether it's like financial or family or whatever, or career, and like they don't step in? Or like, what problems did my parents have that their parents had that were left to continue um, for whatever reason? I thought that was a cool way to end the month there, because I was kind of getting a little bit burnt out on May. Um, and
Did
I
you
think,
did you come up with any like that? Did you come up with anything that you thought your parents would think? Or
so yeah, so like one thing was like something that we talked about about being kids from the 80s and 90s is sometimes the not lack of parenting, but like the it's a good way to put it. We had a lot of freedom by default, right? Like we didn't have devices or anything, and sometimes that might have translated into kind of being let go to your own devices, whether it's like being outside or video games or whatever. Maybe not a whole lot of contact. Like totally know my parents love me, um, and they did say it when my dad was on. One thing that we talked about last Father's Day was that like he doesn't say I love you.
yeah.
He's got like his own kind of weird reasoning. I'm not sure. Not holding against dad if you're listening, but like that's something that me and Kristen do a lot. Is like we are very, very liberal with our hugs and
Yeah,
very, very open with how we struggle with things. Like
same
if
here.
mom and dad are having a bad day, we will we will say why. And I don't remember that being something growing up. And that does play into these first 2 days where um, June 2nd or June 1st, both days, talks a lot about how it's okay to rely on others, and it's healthy for kids to see you do that. Um,
Yeah.
like needing help, because it's like kids need to know how to ask. That's something that I did not learn until like maybe my mid 30s, was it's okay to say you need help.
Hmm.
Because my mom was definitely a person who I think would ask for help as a last resort and kind of keep um, whatever difficulty. I think she kept it in. I think my dad did that too. So that's something that I've worked on being more open about, whether it's with
Yeah.
Kristen or the kids or friends. Even if it's just a text to somebody saying, "Hey, I just need to talk for a second."
Yeah, like I like what Caitlin said. Like she says her dad doesn't say it either. He wants his actions to reflect his love because words aren't always meaningful. So I get that. And I mean I would like to say that I know enough about Caitlin and her brother to know that they were both felt loved. So I'm hoping that's what that means for her. I I think I feel the same way. Like our parents are, it just wasn't as normalized with our parents, and it's becoming more normal for us. It's hard to say like long tail how it's going to play out. That's kind of like the weird mystery of life and parenting is it's like every generation goes, no, 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 we have the answer. We're going to do it this way. And like I think generationally, like, we have improved as, like, a society. We've had our setbacks each time, but, there's certain goods and bads coming out of each generation or each new trend or each new whatever. But for me, and, like, I know for you and a lot of people of our generation, it's like, yeah, our parents weren't open about, the stress, the emotions, the love. They kinda, like, kept kids as kids and let us do our thing. I don't necessarily think that was a bad thing, but at the end of the day, like, I feel like it maybe kept me a little distant from those things, and so I'm learning it late in the game. I'm learning certain things late in the game. Like, I didn't know my parents had friends or relationships, so it didn't seem to me like that was a priority, so I never made it a priority, and it always felt like something was missing. So then now that I'm figuring that out, I'm doubling down on it and making up for lost time kinda thing. But yes, like you, very much a kid that never really heard a lot of "I love yous" from my dad. I heard it from my mom all the time, so, like, I know what it felt to be told, "I love you," and "I support you," and, like, good positive things, and so I just when I made the switch to becoming a parent, I just made it a thing that I do because I didn't see a reason why that shouldn't come from the dad as well. Like, I don't want my kids to think otherwise, so I wanna make sure that they know, like Caitlin said, by my actions, and by my words that I love them, I'm proud of them, that I love the reading yesterday about, like, that I need help or that I don't know the answer. I've had a bunch of those moments, and I like going to, the other aspects of life is like I do that within my other relationships, my friendships and my working relationships too. So like we talk all the time about how this book just isn't just for parents. Um, Very much can help you in the workplace, in the friend zone, in your marital relationship too, or
Yeah.
spouse.
Um, and like being open about specifically struggles. That's something that I'm current. It's that's a practice. That's something that I've not always been good on. While you were talking, one thought that came up from the past was what our idea of an adult is or was. Like I very much on the inside still feel like early 20s, maybe even adolescence sometimes. And this very generic vision of what an adult is based on like a person just handling their own shit and not being open about it.
Mhm.
That's, just you kind of that's one of the things that I imagine an adult is. And I never hit that, nor will I ever hit that vision that I had. And part of what pushes that away, which I think is a good thing, is being open with, even if I'm just not in a good mood. Like, one thing that me and Kristen have uh, talked about before is that we both tend to have periods where we kind of retract. We're not really sharing what's on our head. We just kind of look pissed off. We look concerned or something.
Mhm.
And that does affect the house. Like, it does affect the kids when it's like you're not at your best, whether it's like you didn't do your morning routine, whatever that entails. And that does kind of bleed into other people, probably a lot more um, than you think. Question: do you hug your guy friends like you hug your family? I hug guy friends and people I just met extremely fast, maybe
Oh,
even before they're even ready.
okay.
I will hug. I am a hugger.
All right. I'm a little, I don't know what it is. I'm a little all over the place. Like, and sometimes it's super awkward too. Cause like sometimes I'll go in for like the handshake or the fist bump, and then yeah, I'll dap into a hug. Like, like I'll it some and
Like
it
the fist
yeah,
shoulder.
and what's funny is like I don't even know that it's happening, or I don't even know if I've broached that point of our relationship yet. And then like the next time it'll just be like a high five. So I'm thinking in particular of this new dad friend of mine, Blake. Like he and I have hugged a couple of times, but like not every time. So I'm very inconsistent. I don't know why. I think it like in the moment I feel it, or I don't feel it, or I like have this thing where I don't remember if the last time we hugged. I don't know. I just know vividly with this certain guy that we've been hanging out with a lot and becoming really good friends. It's there's been some awkward moments for sure.
Here's my challenge for you, Dom. The next time that you, even with your new friend, Blake, even if you're not feeling it, go in for the hug. You know how it used to be like the dominance move to like take like you ever get the handshake where it's like the person will come in, shake your hand, but then they'll twist your hand so they're on top.
Mm,
That's like the alpha handshake, the
okay,
business
gotcha.
handshake. The one up from that, the sigma handshake, is the hug. They go in for the handshake, you go in for the big hug. You win.
Oh man. And the other thing is like hugging with other like female friends or like mom friends, like in a whole group. Like it's the same thing. Like I hug, like we're in this little like family troop that I've been talking about. There's four different families. And I've hugged some of the moms, but not other moms. And like I'm pretty sure I've hugged every mom, but not every time. So
Yeah.
I
I
don't know what
feel
it
I've got
is
to the
or
point where
why it
I
is.
feel more awkward when I don't hug.
Gotcha. Okay. So
Like
I'll get
I'm
there eventually.
there was one mom that this was like, I don't know, 6 years ago, where it's like I hugged two people and then I got to this mom and I was like, bye.
Oh no. Oh, that poor lady, because she's, like everybody knows Jason's a hugger, and she
Well,
got
I didn't feel like we were on that level yet, like for some reason, and
yeah,
that stuck with me for like a year. It's like, why didn't I hug that person?
yeah. Oh no.
So,
Oh,
but now, like, so like now we're on like a no hugging basis. Like we've never hugged. This is probably like one of the only people I've never hugged because of that first interaction,
Oh gosh, yeah.
and I don't know how to fix it. It's too late.
Well, that's what I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like it for me, it does kind of feel like it's a thing that I do like for certain like people that I've connected with, or I don't know. It just feels a little bit more personal. And if our relationship isn't quite there yet, like that, I think that's why sometimes I hold it back. Or like in a group setting, if I'm not like I'm trying to think like maybe that's why sometimes I do it and sometimes I don't. Cause it's like if I'm not there yet with every person in the group, then I'm not gonna start hugging. I'm not gonna hug 3 people and then not hug the other 4. Like but yeah, fun conversation, David, who are
Yeah, hugs.
surprised and offended by a hug from me. Yeah, see, that's kind of a thing too, like, the male-female relationship, like, I don't know, that kinda comes up into play, there's a time where right now, like, my daughters are older, and so, I have to be careful with how I hug them. So that's like into play. Like obviously can't go like hugging their friends. That's a little, too much. So just kind of say hi to people. Some you just gotta know how to play it out.
The only thing worse than a no hug is a bad hug, though. It's like it could be anything. It could be like the absolute worst is the ghost hands, where it's like your arms go around, but the hands don't touch the back.
Yeah.
That's probably the worst one. Um, there's always the just the shoulders, where like you kind of it's just
Hmm.
this area. So many ways that a hug could go wrong.
All right. What are we gonna talk about next? The hug conversation hit. Thank you all.
Yeah,
The
hugs are
finish off
important.
it.
Hug somebody today, folks.
Yeah.
Even
And
if
make sure you like Buffett said, make sure you do your push-ups and squats so that those hugs are that much stronger and tighter.
yeah,
Make people feel safe.
I don't want
Buffett's
to be
always there for a
I don't
hug.
want to be remembered for my handshakes. I want to be remembered for my hugs.
All right. All right. I like that. It's good stuff, dude.
Um, what else we got? We got 2 days. Here's something that I wanted to share. This week is weird, and I had to do a little of a kind of a self check-in last night. I got my 2 younger girls who are doing summer school this for the next 3 weeks. Um, and and Kristen's going away for a business trip until Wednesday.
Okay.
And I was feeling stressed last night. And part of that stress I realized was number one, I'm losing 2 kids for most of the day for 3 weeks. And number two, I was slightly stressy about being with my oldest again alone for summer break, that has not been a thing since like my first summer break as a teacher, where like we just had Kira. And that first summer, it was mostly me and her. She was not working at home. She was working a few towns away. And like that first summer, that first week where it was just me and my oldest was like that made up for like any like shitty teacher salary for first year teachers. Um,
Hmm.
but we're turning back to that, and I'm wondering what that's going to be like now with like a preteen, because she's
Hmm.
very much not purposely pulling away, but like she spent all day at like the pool, uh, about half an
So,
hour
so
away.
she doesn't have any camp yet or anything, any summer school or anything like that? Or
Not
just not
this
starting yet?
not this week. She is going to be, but I have some good time with my oldest, but we've had tons of time with like soccer and stuff. So I was slightly anxious to make this time kind of count somehow.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where my head is at. It's a different way of doing summer break, but with more structure which I'm happy about.
Hmm. Well, we'll have to keep that in mind and check in on you guys and see how y'all are getting along. I mean, I'm sure you guys have some sort of, you know, like that. I think I'm kind of in the same boat with my girls. Like the older they get, I'm trying to make sure that I have some sort of connection point with them, but then I also want them to have their freedom, and I would much rather prefer that they just start building the relationships with their friends and start like establishing that like peer to peer thing that I didn't. So I'm always just trying to stoke that fire in them, and I would much rather just sacrifice my one-on-one time with them to know that they're building those muscles of like learning how to be a good friend, learning how to nurture and maintain and manage a relationship. I'd rather them do that. Like much rather them.
Yeah,
Because I
it's
I
great.
because I wanna look forward and see that, like, they have friends and, like, really good relationships, like, way sooner than I did, and then I'll just know that, like, me losing out on some of that one-on-one time went towards that, and that's just what I'm pushing right now for them.
Love that. That's a great point of view.
Yeah.
Thank you. That makes me feel better about it.
And then just take them out for dessert, or just sit there and, like, the thing I think I've been trying to do is just sit there and talk to them about their friends, just, like, ask them,
Yeah.
quiz them on, and help them.
Yeah, we're at the stage where I feel like I have to go in. I think we're gonna do breakfast together. We're gonna
Yeah,
go just me and her. And I'm
nice.
finding that I'm at the point where I have to go in with gotta have some questions prepared for a good conversation. The little adult.
Yep. Well, this little morning session, like, helps build that energy, just like
Yeah.
this back and forth questions, you and I, the chat, all that stuff.
This is the best morning routine right here.
Yeah,
Very
buddy.
thankful for it.
And doing push-ups.
Yeah,
Um,
good job doing 10. Well done. You're set for tomorrow, so you can take a day off.
I see your 10 and I will do 11. Um, everybody, thank you for joining us. Thank you for hanging. Thank you for all the back and forth in the chat. We love you all. We'll see you all tomorrow. Um, hit us up in the DMs in the parent chat. Let's keep this conversation flowing. Love you, buddy.
Love you too, Dom. I mean it.
See you guys.
Air hug.
Don't forget to hug someone. Well done, Caitlin.